Hello, welcome on my channel. In today's episode I would like to write a very simple mock class using GMock framework, which is the most popular mocking framework for C++. I haven't heard about better alternative for GMock now. And what we have here, we have a very simple function that takes no argument. It's called what day is today, and it returns it takes the current date, and in very complicated way it finally returns the one of the weekday in class. I'm not proud of this method because I copy and paste it from the internet. That's why I'm going to leave only a forward declaration here for you, and I would like to hide the rest of implementation because I don't want anyone to see that. And yes, so let me write the class. It's gonna represent me. Maybe it's gonna be a struct. It's gonna be easier. This class is going to represent me, and it's gonna have just one method, boolean method, which is indicator if I can drink beer today. Okay, so as you know probably, we can drink beer only on Friday and Saturday, because the rest of the days you need to stay sober, because the next day you need to wake up to work. So in my case, this function, this method, we will call the method what day is today. And compare it to Friday. Or to Saturday. What we have here, we take a day, a weekday, which is today, and we compare it either to Friday or to Saturday. If this is either Friday or Saturday, I can drink beer, I can't drink beer in other days. Very easy function. And yes, so how can we test it? For example, we can just write a simple unit test using GTest. GTest.h. We need to initialize it. Let me copy and paste it from a different window, because I don't remember the syntax by heart. Okay, so we initialize Google test. There is a syntax error here. Google test is initialized, so I can write a simple test, which will be called me test, for example. And today it's Monday, Tuesday, it's Wednesday, so I can't drink beer on Wednesday. So it's gonna be called cannot drink beer on Wednesday. So what I need to do here, main has to take arguments. I need to initialize the unit under test of type me with an empty constructor, and I expect that I can't drink beer, so I expect false. That when I call on unit under test the method can drink beer today, it's gonna be false. And I expect this test to be passed, as you can see. Of course, this test sucks, because I can call this test only on Wednesdays, because I don't have control under this function, what day is today. I would like to control it and check at different days in my test body. So how can I do that? according to GMock reference, I should create a calendar interface class, which will have this method that was before was a freestanding function. So I'm going to create a calendar interface, which is gonna be a pure virtual class. And I'm going to add two different classes as well. One is going to be calendar implementation, and the other one will be a calendar mock. Okay, this class is derived from this, and this class is derived from this. Okay, and it's not, it won't be a virtual class, it's gonna implement just this method, what day is today. And calendar implementation is going to implement the real implementation of what day is today. So this ugly monster here, it's gonna be implementation of calendar implementation, while calendar mock is going to be a Google GMock implementation of this class, which will not call any logic of the real implementation. We have full control under value returned by this function. Okay, so while this is calendar interface and class me is in method can drink beer today, is going to use a pure virtual method. So calendar cannot be a member of this class. It has to be a pointer to calendar, and it has to be initialized either with calendar implementation or calendar mock, which is also implementation of calendar interface. So what I need to do is to add to class to struct me the pointer to calendar interface, and I'm going to initialize it by calendar implementation, because by default the real function should be used on production. This class should be used. This class should be used only in test environment. So let me add the pointer to calendar interface into class me. Why it cannot be a unit pointer? Okay, and I need to create okay, it's gonna be a method in calendar interface. It's gonna be pure virtual method. I'm going to add a pointer to the interface. And instead of freestanding function, I'm going to call the methods on the class member, the pointer to calendar. As you saw, I started to initialize this, but I don't have implementation yet of calendar interface. So I'm going to write a class calendar implementation, which is derived from calendar interface, and overrides the method what day is today. And the implementation of this method should be this ugly implementation here. So let's leave here the forward declaration. All I need to change is that I need to tell to compiler that this is a definition of what day is today in calendar implementation. There's a missing semicolon somewhere, here and here. Okay, So we have a struct me initialized by a calendar, but in this implementation calendar is a null pointer, so by default I would like to initialize it by calendar implementation. So still we have the same situation. This test still sucks because I can call it only on Wednesdays. What I need to do is to create a mock, so the second implementation of calendar interface, and inject it into structure me. I don't remember, I never remember the syntax of Google GMock classes, so very often I use I use a script that is provided by GTest on GitHub. As you can see in GitHub Google test, on master you just need to go to Google GMock scripts and generator, and there is a Python script here that takes a path to a header file and generates Google Mock. So I created, what we have to do now is to create a mock for this interface. So let me create a file. And I'm going to add this implementation here. So this header contains the implementation of calendar interface, a pure virtual interface. And I call GMock gen Python script on the script on the header file I have here. So this is a path to the calendar interface, and this script is going to generate mock calendar interface. I can copy and paste it to my C++ code. Okay, so it started to be messy a little bit, so let me add a comment that here we have only test environment, while here we have a production environment. Okay, compiler doesn't see what mock method is, so I need to add includes for gmock.h. Okay, so here we have a production environment, here we have a test environment, and what I need to do is to inject the mock calendar interface instead of calendar implementation. As you remember, this currently class me initialized by default constructor class me takes a real calendar implementation. I would like to inject the calendar mock there instead, and I will have a control what will be returned by this function in my test. So here is my test. I need to create a calendar mock. It's going to be a unit pointer of mock calendar interface. Okay, and I need to move it to default constructor here. Okay, perfect. So my unit under test now takes a calendar mock as a calendar, and when I call can be drink beer today, this method invokes the method from Google Mock, and GMock displays a warning that there was an uninteresting mock function call, what day is today, and it returned 0 by default. This test passed because by default GMock classes are save mocks. So what we need to do is change it to strict mock. So in this case, our test will fail. Okay, this test failed now. Okay, so it's not a big deal. So, okay, this test failed because there was uninteresting mock function call. So I need to we need to tell to GTest that we expect call on our calendar mock. I do it just before I move this pointer because in this later I don't have control under this pointer. So I need to set an expectation just before I move the pointer to unit under test. So I expect call using this macro on this mock, and I expect that method what day is today will be called without any arguments. And when this is called, I'll expect GMock should once return, let's say Wednesday. Yes, because this test Wednesdays. What have I done here? So one more time. I set an expectation on calendar mock that on calendar mock I expect that this method will be called only once, and when it is called I will return Wednesday instead of the real implementation because this is mock. Now after that I inject my mock to my unit under test, so this pointer points to the GMock calendar interface, and I call my method finally here, and as you can see all tests passed. I hope it's gonna be helpful for you, and thank you for watching and have a good day. Bye.